Welcome back to Supporting Physician Spouses. I'm Kendra, and today I've got a solo episode for you. If you're listening to this while wrapping presents at midnight, frantically meal planning for 3 different holiday gatherings, or perhaps you're feeling that familiar knot of guilt about another missed family tradition because of your spouse's schedule, I see you, and this episode is for you. Here's what nobody tells you about being married to a physician during the holidays. While everyone else's lives seem to be winding down for the season, your household is ramping up. And if you're married to a surgeon, fourth quarter is an absolute beast. Patients are rushing to use those insurance benefits before the year ends, which means that elective cases are packed into the schedule. And your spouse is working more hours, not less. So while Pinterest is showing you elaborate elf-on-the-shelf scenes and your Instagram feed is full of coordinated family pajamas at tree farms, you're over here just trying to figure out if your partner will make it home for Christmas. Today, we're talking about rest, but not the kind of rest that requires you to add something else to your already overflowing plate. I'm talking about the kind of rest that's actually a biological necessity, the kind that might be the difference between surviving this season and actually being present for it. I've been a student of Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith's work on the 7 types of rest, and I'm currently in her facilitator training program. Her framework has completely changed how I think about exhaustion, and I want to share some of it with you today because I think it could change your holiday season. Here's the big idea. Rest is not the same thing as sleep. You can get 8 hours of sleep and still wake up exhausted, and maybe you know that feeling. Now, why is that? Because there are actually 7 different types of rest our bodies and minds need, and most of us are only addressing 1, maybe 2 of them. Today, I'm going to focus on the 3 types of rest that I see most depleted in physician families during the holidays. That's emotional rest, social rest, and sensory rest. Not only that, I'm going to give you some practical micro practices you can implement this week. Not in January when everything calms down, but right now, in the middle of the chaos. First up, we've got emotional rest. I'm going to paint a picture for you. It's December 16th. Your kids are asking why Dad isn't home yet. Your mother-in-law is texting about Christmas dinner plans. The school called. Guess who forgot about the holiday party tomorrow? And they want to know if you can bring 24 cupcakes. Your spouse just texted, and they're stuck in an emergency surgery and won't make it to tonight's church Christmas party that you promised the kids you'd all attend together. And here you are, managing everyone's emotions. You've got your kids' disappointment, your in-laws' expectations, your own grief about another missed moment, all while performing this cheerful, everything is fine energy that is absolutely draining you. Now, this is an example of emotional labor, and we're going to talk more about that in the new year. But during the holidays, emotional labor is at an all-time high. And here's what research shows. When we suppress our emotions, when we plaster on that smile and pretend that everything is fine when it's not, it actually uses up our cognitive energy. Your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, has to work overtime to regulate and suppress those emotions, which means you're literally exhausting your mental resources just by not being honest about how you feel. Now, over time, this suppression affects your physical health. We're talking blood pressure, heart rate, immune function. Your body is keeping score when you're pretending everything is okay. So emotional rest is about creating safe spaces for authentic expression. It's about having the honest conversations, and it's about setting boundaries that protect your emotional energy. So here are 3 micro practices you can try this week. The first is the and conversation. When a family member asks about your holiday plans, practice using and instead of but. Instead of saying, we'd love to come, but my husband's schedule is unpredictable, try, I'd love to see you, and we need to keep it flexible because of his schedule. It sounds like a small shift, but it honors both your desire to connect and the reality of your situation without apologizing for it. All right, the second one is one honest conversation. Find one person this week where you can drop the performance mask. Maybe it's another physician spouse. Maybe it's a close friend. Maybe it's your sister. But find someone safe and say the true thing. This season is hard. I'm lonely. I'm exhausted. I don't know how to manage everyone's expectations. You don't have to fix it. Just say it out loud to someone who can hold space for it. The third is evening emotional reset. Before bed, take 3 minutes. Set a timer and acknowledge one hard feeling from the day. Don't try to fix it or reframe it to make it better. Just notice it. It might be something like, today I felt sad when my husband missed the kids' concert. That's it. No but, no silver lining, no making it okay, just acknowledgement. All right, here's your permission slip for emotional rest. You don't have to make up for your spouse's absence with extra cheer. Your children can handle disappointment. In fact, modeling emotional authenticity shows them that it's okay to feel sad about missed moments. In a way, it's actually a gift to them. Okay, let's talk about the next one, social rest. Here's what happens in physician families during the holidays. All those obligations that usually get split between two parents, they land on one. It's probably you. The school Christmas party, the church party, the neighborhood cookie exchange, maybe even preparing your spouse's office Christmas party, family gatherings where you're fielding questions about why your spouse isn't there. And here's the thing. Not all social interactions are created equal. Some people in gatherings restore your energy. Others absolutely drain it. Dr. Dalton Smith talks about this in terms of energy restorers versus energy drainers. And there's actual neuroscience behind this. Your brain has these things called mirror neurons. And they don't just fire when you act. They fire when you witness someone else acting, which means you literally absorb the emotional energy of the people around you. So when you're around someone who's positive and supportive and authentic, your nervous system registers that. When you're around someone who's chronically negative, boundary violating, or emotionally demanding, your stress response activates. During the holidays, when your reserves are already low, curating your social calendar isn't selfish. It's going to be strategic. Here are your micro practices for social rest. The first is the social audit. Before you say yes to any gathering or commitment this season, pause and ask yourself one question. Will I leave this feeling more or less energized? Not should I go or will they be upset if I don't? But what will this do to my energy? That is your decision-making filter. The second is using strategic no's. Give yourself permission to decline 2 or 3 invitations this season without explanation and without guilt. You really don't owe anyone a dissertation on your decision. Just a simple, we won't be able to make it this year, but thank you for thinking of us, is a complete sentence. And the third practice is buffer time. If you do attend something, build in a 15-minute recovery window before and after. Sit in your car for 10 minutes before you walk in, or take a walk around the block when you get home. Give your nervous system time to reset. And finally, life-giving connection. Schedule one intentional gathering with someone who truly restores you. Even if it's just a cup of hot cocoa for 30 minutes or a phone call while you're both wrapping presents. Prioritize at least one connection that fills you up instead of depleting you. All right, your permission slip for social rest. Saying no to some traditions protects your ability to be present for the ones that matter. And solitude? Solitude is restoration, not selfishness. If you need an evening alone in your room with the door closed, take it. All right, our last type of rest that we're going to cover today is sensory rest. Let me describe what your nervous system is experiencing right now. Holiday lights everywhere. Christmas music on repeat everywhere you go, in every store, in every office building. The ding of constant notifications on your phone as you coordinate schedules via text or another Amazon package is delivered. The visual clutter of decorations, gift wrapping, shopping bags, boxes, crowded stores. The noise of holiday parties, or the blue light from screens as you shop online at night because it's the only time you have. Your environment is bombarding your nervous system with excessive light, sound, and input. And here's what the research shows. Chronic sensory stimulation actually shrinks the brain areas linked to memory and decision-making. You know that feeling where you walk into a room and you forget why you're there? Or you can't remember if you sent that email, or you snap at your kids over something small? That's sensory fatigue. And for physician spouses, there's an extra layer. You're already managing uncertainty around your partner's schedule. Every text could be, "I'm on my way," or "stuck here for 3 more hours." Your nervous system is on high alert. And then you're adding holiday sensory overload on top of it. Sensory rest, at its core, is about quieting the noise. It's about giving your brain a break from constant stimulation. So here are your micro practices for sensory rest. The first is create a device-free zone. And I recommend your bedroom. Make it device-free after 8 p.m. Put your phone on a charger in another room. And if you're worried about missing an emergency call from your spouse or someone else, use the Do Not Disturb function and set them as a favorite so their calls still come through. Second, utilize the 20-20-20 rule. For every 20 minutes of screen time, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This gives your eyes a break and helps reduce that eye strain and headache that comes from too much digital input. And third, sensory sanctuary. Create one small space in your home that is calm. Maybe it's your bedroom, maybe it's a corner of the living room, or maybe even just your car in the driveway. Lower the lighting, minimal decoration, no holiday music, a place where your nervous system can downshift. And lastly, strategic simplification. Choose one tradition to simplify this year. Buy the cookies instead of making them. Use paper plates for that party. Order the gifts instead of braving the shopping centers. Simplify the decorations. Your home doesn't have to look like a magazine for your kids to feel the magic. All right, here's your permission slip for sensory rest. A quieter holiday can actually be a more meaningful holiday. You don't have to do all the things to create beautiful memories. Okay, let's bring this home. The 3 types of rest we talked about today are emotional, social, and sensory. These aren't just nice ideas. These are survival tools for an unsustainable season. And rest isn't something you earn after the holidays are over. Rest is what gets you through them. So here's my challenge for you. Pick one rest type this week, just one, and then pick one micro practice from that category and implement it. Then really notice the difference in your capacity, in your presence, in your sense of peace. Maybe you have that one honest conversation and you feel less alone. Maybe you say no to one obligation and you feel lighter. Maybe you create that sensory sanctuary and your shoulders finally come down from your ears. These small acts of rest are not selfish. They're strategic because your family doesn't need your perfection. They need your presence. And presence requires rest, especially in seasons that demand everything you have. This December, I want you to give yourself permission to choose peace over perfection. Your well-being isn't selfish. It's the foundation for showing up as the person you want to be. If you want to learn more about the 7 types of rest, you can take Dr. Dalton Smith's assessment at restquiz.com. It will help you identify which rest deficits are most affecting you. And if you want to go deeper with this work, her book is called Sacred Rest, and it is excellent, a favorite of mine. And if you need help translating your rest assessment, and perhaps you have questions about the book, or you realize I read it and I did it and I'm still not able to make progress, that's exactly where a coach can come in. So I'd be happy to help you work through those and create a plan that is sustainable for you and your family. All right, now go take a few minutes for yourself. You've earned it. Thank you for listening. We know that you are busy, and it means a lot to us that we get to spend a few minutes each week with you. We hope that you're following us on social media. On Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at Supporting Position Spouses. If there's something you'd like to hear Katie and I talk about on future episodes, you can always email us at hello@supportingpositionspouses.com.